Hey guys, welcome to a winter edition of Another Guy's Garage. Here I am in January working on a 2016 Ford Focus. We have a problem with a little bit of vibration, so we think it's the shocks. We've been through alignment, we've been through wheels, we bounced. I don't see any leaking oil, but definitely have a bounce. So we bought these KYB Excel-G shocks from Rockauto, and we're gonna do a replacement. This should be a stock replacement to the original. Before you get started though, this is a 2016 Ford Focus. The tools you'll need are listed here. Maybe here, but here. First thing you need is some light, which I have from my garage, and a lot of patience. Maybe some Christmas ale. Let's get into it. First things first, we got to get this thing in the air. You can see I've chalked the wheat. Oh, there's wheel chocks there. That's better. This is a front wheel drive car, and it is in gear. It's a stick shift. I don't know if you can see in there, probably can't. It is stick shift. It's not going anywhere. All right, first things first, let's jack this thing up in the air. For those of you with a Focus, the question is, where do you jack it up? Well, they put these little marks, I don't know if you can see that, right on this panel with an arrow to say here. That's where you want to put your jack. And your eyes do not deceive you. This car is covered in salt because I live in the north where we purposely try to destroy our vehicles all in the name of safety. Next, let's get this tire off. Let's pull the wheel cover off. Here's my torque wrench. I've already lost tools. Wheel nuts on a Focus are 19 millimeters. So we're gonna set up our gun for off mode. Let's get these off. Let's get the juice. I'm going to remind you later, but typically the worst part about this job is getting this wheel off because this corrodes and this wheel will seize on there. Therefore, and again, I'll remind you, I use anti-seize just around the hub so I can get the wheel off. Let's see if it worked. Work if it jacked it up all the way. Oh, and it did not. It's always this side. We're going to have to brute force it, folks. Get a little squirt of a little bit of penetrating fluid. The last time I had these off, I actually took an angle grinder and cleaned all that rust and scale off so that this wouldn't happen. But here I am. Go figure. Thank you, Ford. If you ever get stuck on the side of the road, God, wow, look at the weights on that. They say it was balanced. Holy, yeah, there's something going on back here. There. Brute force. Next, there are two 10 millimeter bolts that are holding the top of this shock on. One there and one there. Let's see if I can get in here without breaking the camera. Get this side out first. One. This one's a little rusty. Let's hope it comes out as good as the other side. This extension's a little bit on the long side. And there's two. Next, we've got this 15 millimeter bolt. I'm going to go ahead and take a little preventative action, and I'm going to spray the snot out of those threads with a little bit of penetrating lube here. I should have done this technically a lot earlier, but if you haven't used this stuff, good stuff. Little PB Blaster, local Cleveland company. Shout out to them. There she goes. A little salty. Let's make sure we get her off here. Yeah, northern car, folks. Everything's gonna be a little bit rusty, including this guy. Whoo-wee. All right, let's get this POS out of here. All right, so this is how it came out of the car. This is how it was in. I'm gonna mark this with an F for front. And all that salt. I don't know that it matters. I also don't know that it doesn't matter. I'm going to mark it anyways. So the new shock doesn't come with any of this. So this perch or this mount needs to come off. Ooh, is it salty? Needs to come off. This boot needs to come off. And we've got to transfer that to the other shock. I'm going to hold this with a crescent wrench. Add that to the list of tools you need. I'm going to grab a 13 millimeter. And I will warn you, the KYB uses a different size nut. Don't ask me why, but they do. I'll do this without hitting you guys. I'm going to hold this like this. I'm going to put this 13 millimeter on there. And then I'm going to squeeze. Try and get this apart. There we go. We're not going to reuse this because our new shocks came with a new bolt. But I do need this crusty piece. And I do need this. And this is our stock shock. I don't see that it's leaking, but I think that's the source of our vibration. It could be the 10,000 pounds worth of wheel weights on that wheel, but we'll see. And what you are looking at is a neatly organized workspace. Don't let the internet fool you. It's a YouTube illusion that it's messy out here. Ooh, look at that. New shock. Instructions. And a new nut. And like I said, this is a different size. The old one was 13 millimeters. The new one is a 12. I don't know why they do that, but they did. Let's go ahead and transfer the old stuff to the new one. First things first, let's take the banding off this shock. I could just cut this, but why would I? Oh yeah, so satisfying. Super slow motion. Got my shock out. Put the boot back on. There's all kinds of stuff inside there. Just put it back on. Don't ask questions. Maybe find the hole. Oh, she's tight. Oh, there we go. The boot back on. This is going to go fall beds like so. And then this nut, the new one, is going to get put on the shock just like we took the other one off. I'm going to use my 12 millimeter wrench. Now I'm going to hold this in the most awkward way that I can, just until she's tight. Click, 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 click. It's tight. That's all there is to it. She's ready to go on. All right, now we're going to do the reverse order. I'm going to put the top up there. I'm going to tighten up the bottom bolt, and then I'll tighten up the top too. We're almost done. All right, first things first, let's worm this in the way it came out, which I think was like so. Now that I've got semi lined up top, I'm going to line up my hole here. Where are you? Where are you, you little bugger? There. I'm going to put this in my hand so I make sure I don't strip it out. If I can. It's always my goal. And then I'm gonna use a 3/8 drive just to gently tighten it up, just to make sure I don't strip anything out. I could run it in with the impact gun, but if I do that and I strip it out, I'm screwed. We're snug. Line up these holes and get these bolts, these guys, 10mm started. Find the hole, Tom. There we go. There we go. I think I got it. Again, I like to start everything by hand. This way I know I'm starting the threads. I'm not stripping anything out. It's getting late. It's not that late, but I don't want to have to make a trip to the auto parts store to buy hardware that they don't make anymore. So this is where I wish I was a contortionist. I said in this video how much I wish I had a lift. I'm gonna use my 3/8 drive ratchet and just snug it up. I can taste the salt. Yeah, it's a travesty that we live where we live. But there's no moving now. All right, I got my 15mm socket. I'm gonna sneak up on this, and first, without pinching my hand here, I'm gonna tighten it up to, if I can get it to click, 40 foot-pounds, and then I'll take it to 80. Just the way I like to do it. All right, so there's 40. Which adjusts our torque wrench, take it to 80. Sorry, let's adjust our torque wrench, take it to 85. All right, let's tighten the snot out of it so she won't come off. There's my workout. I don't need the gym. I got a Ford Focus. I heard it. 85, folks. 85. Now that we got the bottom on, let's go ahead and torque the top to 18 foot-pounds. All right, I got my 10mm. Got my torque wrench set to 18 foot-pounds. Let's go ahead and tighten her up. Sneak up on both sides. Hopefully my arm isn't in the way. It's 18. All right, 18. Clickety clack. All right, guys. As promised, I'm gonna put a little anti-seize on this hub just to make sure that it doesn't corrode itself together. And I'm going to be careful not to get it on the threads for the wheel nuts because it will mess up the torque. So I'm just going to get it on the hub. That's a lot. See, normally I tell everybody a little bit of this goes a long way, but in this case, I am not going to be shy. I am also going to put it here where we got that liberal amount of penetrating fluid. Let's go ahead and get this piece of Ford back together. Again, I start everything by hand. Remember, these were a 19mm. I'm going to run them down with my impact, but I'm going to set it on the lowest setting, and then I'll torque them by hand. So we'll just get them tight. Remember to go in a star pattern. I have the e-brake on. I'm just going to lower it to the, so it's just touching the pavement. I still have pressure off the wheel, but it's just touching the pavement. Now I can set my torque wrench. I'm going to go a little light, sneak up on it. I'm going to do them all to 60. Give them a pass. 60. It's already at 60. All right, let's go up to 100. These get 100 foot-pounds. There's my Hondo. I am there. 100. 100. 100. 100. 100. Let's go around the horn. 100. 100. 100. 100. 100. And of course I'm going to wipe off the excess anti-seize. I'm not an animal. Give me a little credit. All right, let's put it down. Wheel covers on steel wheels on a Focus, guys. There's one that has a little cutout, but you got to make sure that this spot, which sometimes it turns like it just did, is where the valve stem is. Otherwise, you will booger up the valve stem. Ask me how I know. So you'll want this area right here that's got the relief right where the valve stem is. And again, the front of the wheel is marked. So where are you, valve stem? Valve stem is right here. Good old plastic. Just for good measure, you can see that little really well. Let's make sure you can see. Just for good measure, you can see there's the relief, and it goes around the valve stem, so you don't booger up the valve stem. All right, guys, all we have left to do is a test drive. But hey, I'm gonna spare you. It's a Ford Focus. Guess what? It drives like a Ford Focus. Don't forget to take your wheel chocks off. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Again, as always, if you got anything out of this video, please give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, for those of you who's still watching, thank you for hanging around. I'm going to recap and tell you all the things that I use to do this job. First and foremost, I used an impact gun, preferably something with some. I used a crescent wrench. I used a 13mm wrench. If you buy the KYB shocks, you're going to also need a 12mm wrench. I used a 19mm impact socket for the wheels. I used a 15mm socket to get the bolt off that holds the bottom of the shock on. I used a 10mm socket to get the two bolts that hold the top of the shock. I used a 1/2" extension, a 3/8 drive extension. I like to use a 3/8, so I've got the same tools in 3/8 drive so I can sneak up on it. You'll also need a torque wrench to make sure that you can read 85 foot-pounds and also 18 foot-pounds. If you have a Focus, again, you're going to want some anti-seize. Of course, you're going to need some bearing shocks. Again, thanks for watching.